The infamous escape of the Texas 7 stands as one of the most audacious and meticulously planned prison breaks in U.S. history. It wasn't just a random act of rebellion, but a well-thought-out, highly coordinated operation that took years of careful observation and planning. These 7 inmates, all convicted of serious crimes, banded together with one goal: to escape from the heavily fortified Connally Unit, a maximum security prison in Texas. Their month-long spree of violence and terror that followed was a dark chapter that sent shockwaves across the country. This breakout was not just a test of physical strength, but a demonstration of psychological manipulation, strategic planning, and sheer desperation. From studying guard routines to exploiting systemic flaws, the Texas 7 turned their environment against itself. Their escape and subsequent actions underline the vulnerabilities in even the most secure systems and reveal how far desperation can push individuals. The Connally Unit, a weak link in a secure chain. The Connally Unit was built to house some of Texas's most dangerous criminals. Its towering fences, armed guards, and reinforced barriers made it seem impenetrable to the outside world. However, from the inside, systemic issues made it far more vulnerable than it appeared. Chronic understaffing and a lack of consistent training created openings that inmates like the Texas 7 could exploit. The prison's management was stretched thin, and many of the guards were underpaid, overworked, or inexperienced. These conditions fostered an environment where complacency set in. Guards often relied on predictable patterns and routines, unaware that these could be easily studied and used against them. Additionally, blind spots in security coverage and inadequate surveillance technology gave inmates opportunities to move unnoticed. For years, the 7 escapees observed these vulnerabilities. They analyzed guard behavior, shift changes, and weak points in the facility's infrastructure. They discovered that the maintenance area, which housed tools and equipment, had far fewer security measures than other parts of the prison. It was this area that became the focal point of their escape plan. The Texas 7, a deadly alliance. The group that would later become known as the Texas 7 was made up of a diverse set of criminals, each bringing a unique skill set to the table. At the center of the operation was George Rivas, a career criminal and natural leader. Rivas, who was serving multiple life sentences for armed robbery, was intelligent, manipulative, and charismatic. His leadership and strategic thinking were instrumental in organizing the escape. Larry Harper was known for his mechanical aptitude, which became critical in disabling locks and barriers. Donald Newberry and Joseph Garcia, both hardened criminals, brought physical strength and intimidation to the group. Michael Rodriguez, who had financial support from his family, helped secure resources for their escape and life on the run. Patrick Murphy and Randy Halprin rounded out the team, each contributing in smaller but essential ways to the escape plan. What made this group particularly dangerous was their shared mindset. All of them had been convicted of serious crimes and faced either life sentences or the death penalty. For them, escape was not just a possibility, it was a necessity. They were willing to kill if it meant staying free, and their actions after escaping proved this determination. Meticulous planning. Years of observation. The Texas 7 did not act on impulse. Their escape was the result of years of meticulous planning and observation. By working assigned jobs within the prison, they gained access to critical areas and gathered intelligence about the facility's layout and security protocols. Rivas, the mastermind, emphasized patience. He knew that a rushed plan would lead to failure, so the group took their time identifying vulnerabilities. They discovered that the guards in the maintenance area were often less vigilant, especially during shift changes. They also noted that tools stored in this area could be used to dismantle locks, cut through bars, and create other necessary items for their escape. The group smuggled tools and supplies over time, hiding them in strategic locations. They also practiced how to move quickly and quietly through the facility, rehearsing their escape plan repeatedly. Their attention to detail was extraordinary. They even accounted for how long it would take to subdue guards and anticipated which alarms might be triggered. The escape, a bold and daring operation. The breakout occurred on December 13, 2000, during a time when the prison was understaffed due to the holiday season. The Texas 7 chose this moment deliberately, knowing that guards would be distracted and fewer in number. The escape began in the maintenance area, where the group ambushed and overpowered several guards. They tied the guards up with duct tape and stole their uniforms, ID badges, and radios. Disguised as prison staff, the Texas 7 were able to move through the facility without raising suspicion. Using stolen tools, they cut through steel bars and crawled through a maintenance tunnel that led to the prison's perimeter. Their planning paid off as they successfully scaled the outer fences without triggering alarms. By the time prison officials discovered they were missing, the group had already stolen a getaway vehicle and vanished into the night. A month of mayhem, life on the run. Once free, the Texas Seven embarked on a crime spree that would leave a trail of destruction and fear. They initially traveled together, using stolen vehicles and credit cards to fund their escape. They avoided major highways and stayed in remote areas to reduce the risk of being spotted. On December 24, 2000, the group committed one of their most notorious crimes. They robbed an Oshman's sporting goods store in Irving, Texas, stealing cash, weapons, and ammunition. During the robbery, they were confronted by police officer Aubrey Hawkins, who responded to a silent alarm. The Texas Seven ambushed Hawkins, shooting him multiple times and running him over with their vehicle. His brutal murder shocked the nation and intensified the manhunt. The group's violent tendencies made them even more dangerous. With a growing arsenal of stolen weapons and a willingness to kill, they became the FBI's top priority. Their faces were plastered on America's Most Wanted, and a $500,000 reward was offered for information leading to their capture. Life in Colorado, the calm before the storm. After the Oshman's robbery, the Texas Seven fled to Colorado, where they attempted to lay low. They rented an RV and lived in an RV park under assumed identities. To blend in, they presented themselves as tourists and avoided drawing attention to themselves. However, their images were now widely recognized, making it difficult to remain anonymous. Despite their attempts to stay hidden, cracks began to form within the group. The stress of being on the run, combined with their differing personalities, created tensions. While they initially worked together seamlessly, their unity began to fray as law enforcement closed in. The capture justice prevails. The Texas Seven's downfall came in January 2001, when a tip from a Colorado resident led law enforcement to their location. A viewer of America's Most Wanted recognized their faces and alerted authorities. Police quickly surrounded the RV park, initiating a tense standoff. Larry Harper, unwilling to face capture, took his own life during the confrontation. The remaining 6 members eventually surrendered, bringing their reign of terror to an end. The capture of the Texas Seven was a relief for law enforcement and the public, but the trauma they had caused would not be forgotten. Officer Aubrey Hawkins's murder remained a stark reminder of the group's brutality. Trials and sentences. The surviving members of the Texas Seven were extradited to Texas to stand trial. Each was convicted of capital murder for their role in Hawkins's death and received the death penalty. Over the years, several of the members have been executed, while others remain on death row. Their actions left a lasting impact on the victims' families and the law enforcement community. Lessons learned. Changes in prison security. The Texas Seven's escape exposed significant flaws in the prison system. In the aftermath, Texas and other states implemented sweeping changes to prevent similar incidents. Security protocols were tightened, guard training was improved, and technological advancements like surveillance cameras and motion sensors were introduced. Work programs within prisons were also reevaluated. Many facilities now impose stricter oversight on inmates working in sensitive areas, ensuring that tools and equipment are accounted for at all times. The legacy of the Texas Seven. The story of the Texas Seven is a chilling reminder of how desperation, cunning, and systemic flaws can combine to create chaos. Their escape and subsequent crimes were the result of years of planning and a willingness to do whatever it took to avoid capture. While their ingenuity may be acknowledged, it is overshadowed by the violence and loss of life they caused. The murder of Aubrey Hawkins and the fear they instilled in communities will forever be their legacy. For law enforcement, the case of the Texas Seven serves as a cautionary tale, a reminder that vigilance and constant improvement are necessary to maintain security and justice. A dark chapter in criminal history. The escape of the Texas Seven was a calculated, cold-blooded act that left a trail of destruction in its wake. Their story is a sobering example of the lengths to which individuals will go when faced with desperation. From their meticulous planning to their violent actions on the run, the Texas Seven left an indelible mark on American criminal history. Their legacy serves as a reminder of the human cost of systemic failures and the need for accountability in the justice system. It is a story that continues to resonate, offering lessons for both corrections officials and society as a whole.